If you're thinking about moving to rural Italy, this video is for you. So I'm here to help you, giving you my advice and what is my experience so far. I recently made a video where I talked about my own personal countercultural shocks after relocating in my rural town in Italy and after lived almost 20 years in New York City. In that video, I touched a lot about how I feel sometimes like an American here in Italy and how I feel like an Italian in America. And I'm sure this is a feeling that a lot of people can relate to, especially immigrants. If you want to check that video, you can check it up here. So, what are the six cons and six pros of relocating to rural Italy or moving here? Here they are. The first con is that everything is slower. Everything takes a little bit longer to do. I'm thinking about lines in public offices, getting business stuff together. People seem to understand that that's the way it is here, but also complain a lot about it. For example, going to the doctor and waiting in line to talk to your doctor. Things are a little bit less streamlined, but driving. People can drive really fast. And at least on the roads, Italians do everything faster. The second con of moving to rural Italy is definitely lack of reliable public transportation. So if you decide to do such a thing, you probably going to drive everywhere, and I would say for Americans or in general, it's not an issue. But if you're somebody, and I know a lot of people, especially in cities, that don't drive and don't want to drive for many reasons, yeah, that is something to be mindful of. The public transportation, going somewhere in 50 minutes, it might take you with public transportations 2 hours, and of course you have to rely on the timing and the slots, which are not so many. The third con of moving to rural Italy is that people stare at you a lot, and especially if you look different. I talk about this in other videos about the cultural shocks of coming back home and Italy and Europe in general, but Italy more. It's something you get used to. It's something you get thick skin around it, but if you're somebody that really cares about privacy and really is annoyed about this stuff, that could be something that sometimes gets done in very intrusive way. But you just have to just understanding that people don't do it on purpose, they just do it. Another con of moving to rural Italy, people really touch you a lot. I don't know if that is just rural Italy or probably southern Italy in general. If you come from, Anglo-Saxon places where if you come, especially if you come from a big American city and American culture. My dog just is feeling really hot right now. Yeah, Americans like probably have this much distance. In Italy, it's like it's yeah, people come very closely. Another con of moving to rural Italy is that, and this goes with the stare, people rarely seem friendly. That doesn't mean that they're not friendly, but they're not used to smile at you because you're a stranger and they don't know you. So instead, in America and Canada, I noticed like in many other places in the world, like people just smile at you, and perhaps this is changing a bit here. Perhaps the people here are becoming a little bit more, you know, superficially friendly, I would say. I mean, I don't know. It's a con because for me, it's just like, what's wrong? Like, why couldn't you just smile? And I'm not gonna come and stab you if you smile. I mean, but I understand there's a kind of wariness, I guess. The sixth con and last one is that people will ask you a lot of personal questions, especially if you speak the language and can communicate. They do it like it's normal. They don't do it in a bad way, but the way to go around this is just learning how to deal with it. Just be prepared. Don't get upset, to get surprised like I did again. And even if I know, I'm like, wow, people still asking so many personal questions. Actually, it's improved a lot, but be prepared. The first pro of moving to rural Italy is people asking personal questions. Wasn't that listed in the cards? Yes, because I believe that people asking personal questions, being a little bit intrusive, it's something that can be a bad thing, but it can be also a good thing. What do I mean by that? When you start talking about more personal things with people, people have a chance to get closer to you. I believe that if we learn, all of us, how to handle people asking personal questions and being a little intrusive, it's something that can bring us closer to people. People sometimes, you have to understand, I realize that people are just genuinely curious. They're just curious. They don't really want to know your business. They're curious about you. You're somebody that's different, that's coming from another culture. There's not necessarily anything bad about that. So, yes, this is also a pro. Another pro is that when you go out in town, you always meet people you get to talk to and say hi and do chit chat. This is a good thing because I haven't seen much actually, I haven't seen it at all in American little towns. Unless you go in a pub, in a bar somewhere where it's the place where people get, that's when people maybe talk. But I haven't seen that thing in the piazza or in the street, everywhere. So definitely this is a pro of moving to rural Italy. You'll never go a day without exchanging a nice, real human face-to-face interaction. I can't believe I'm saying this. The third pro of relocating to rural Italy or Italy in general is the bidet. Bidet in United States perhaps are seen as something very exotic, something that people don't know how to use, but using the bidet is something that not only makes you save water, and we need water, God knows if we do need more water with 8 billion people in this world, but also it's ecological, it's fast. You don't have to take a whole shower all the time, or you have to go dirty and use those napkins. I hope I'm not gonna be banned because I said this on YouTube. Fourth pro from relocating to Italy, it's the food, the quality, the beauty of the food that you can source locally. I know, that the person that has eggs, I go get the fresh eggs. I know the guy that is the cheese guy, then I know definitely the quality of the products. Even if you buy at the supermarket, it's much higher. And that's because of the European Union regulations on pesticides use and labeling. It's much more stricted compared to the United States. Another pro is that you will not feel bad about taking time for yourself, taking time to do things slowly. I'm not talking about going to the gym, just go to the spa, whatever. Like, I'm talking about doing things slower, doing things with just no purpose at all sometimes, and not having this obsession about productivity. I'm really happy to see that this thing hasn't changed here. Another pro is that when you go to a restaurant, it's a real refreshing experience. The waiter, it's not they're having to move things fast because they need the table, how it happens a lot in big cities. In the US, the waiters have a paycheck and they don't work for tips. So it's a much more enjoyable experience to go to the restaurant when things are handled in this manner. The last pro that I found about it's amazing being back in rural Italy is that nobody will judge you for taking a nap. I know that now things are changing. I've seen articles and publications where they say that, yeah, not taking a nap is good. They call it power nap because it recharges you. In America, everything has to have a reason that's productive. I have a story about this. I was in a New York City office working, and I was talking to this client of a client that was there, and we were just chit chatting. Where are you from? What do you do? From Italy. I said, and this guy had the guts to tell me, you guys take naps. It's your fault if the economy is going to shit or something like that. And I'm like, what? Seriously? I mean, I stayed silent. I mean, what do you want to say? But I found it so insulting, unnecessarily judgmental. But anyway, I'm glad now a lot of people are catching up on the power of the power nap, the nap, call it the way you want to call it. At the end of the day, there are going to be pros, there are going to be cons. It doesn't exist Eureka, the perfect place to live. The two most important ingredients in terms of making it in another country is A, you really have to be motivated, and B, be able to adapt. I know that moving into a different place will enrich the person culturally, humanly. However, there's different reasons to leave, and that's really personal. Some people, me included, probably they need to explore, especially when you're young, very young, and you're born in a place that you feel like it doesn't offer you much. You feel like there's so much to explore, to see, but there's also a need to find yourself. But not everybody found themselves right away in life. And I think that traveling and exploring and meeting new people, moving to different places offers just that, a way to measure who you are with what you think you want to be and what you think you should be, and finding your own peace. Finding your own peace is necessary. There's nothing more disappointing, probably, than moving to a new place hoping that all your problems and all your frustrations will go away just because you relocated to a new place. Some problems follow us really close no matter where we go. And also, if we are our own person, we can layer and just build up as we go and become the person that we're meant to be no matter where we live in this planet. What I'm doing with this channel, it's not just about a channel that talks about food and cooking and tips on how to move to Italy, living in the countryside, and my personal story of adjusting, of living this life that's it's got many facets, but it's about the living an extra virgin lifestyle. Living a lifestyle that it's yours. It's you. It's not what it's trending now. It's not what other people are doing. It's not what the world tell us what to be. You know who you are. And even if you don't know, it's okay. You will find it. You will find yourself. But you gotta have an open minded. Sorry if I went a little bit on a tangent here, and but this is very dear to me. This whole concept of where do you live? It seems like that just the place where we live define us. I don't think so. I've seen many people, deeply, deeply cool people that come from places like this, very rural. I met people that are very interesting that grew up in the cities. It's really relative, you know. What's your experience? Have you ever moved somewhere very rural? I love to hear your comments. And I have a special gift for you. I wrote a book. It's 15 recipes with extra virgin olive oil. It's completely free. You can download it down below in the link in the description notes, and it will be a way, if you're really dreaming of moving to Italy, at least to have a little piece of Italy in your plate and in your belly tonight. Thank you. Bye.